Hey there, it's Brett Hornby here. Welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel here, and definitely got still some more sports updates, even though action is not happening on the ice or on the field of play here, but definitely got some more news to share that the Canadian Hockey League, the governing body for all of junior hockey in Canada here and parts of the US, with the Western Hockey League, the Ontario Hockey League, and the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, actually announced that the 2020 World Cup that was scheduled to be in Kelowna this year has officially been cancelled for, what's been going around here. So I'm definitely going to not exactly say what it is. I think you all know what is happening right now in the world that is shutting things down here. But unfortunately, the 2020 World Cup is not going to happen this season, and also the CHL Playoffs, and as well as the Ontario Hockey League Playoffs, the OHL, and the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League Playoffs are also all been cancelled here. So the fact that you could pretty much say Season 2 of my Calgary Hitmen game recaps is essentially over now. So there won't be any more game recaps, sadly, as there won't be a playoffs, as the Calgary Hitmen were slated to take on the Prince Albert Raiders in the first round of the WHL playoffs, but now that's not actually going to happen here. Before I dive into other business and say what teams are going to be affected the most with the cancellation of the CHL playoffs and all their respective leagues and the 2020 World Cup here, I have to say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sportsman's journey, you know what you need to do. Just make sure you hit like, subscribe, and I also have my other social media links down in the description below there. Before I dig in deeper into the story here, I have this for the Big B here. You know who you are. I'm not going to say the name or position here, but just made a general observance that I record my videos in this place. I'm in an apartment here, and this is, I feel, my favorite spot to record videos. Sometimes I record it in the bedroom there, but it's more confined and gets a lot more stuffy there. I think eventually, maybe once I replace all my lights with LEDs, I might record more videos in there where I'm not dependent on going into the daytime here. But this is for you, Big B. You know who you are. I'm just with all the information here. So there's that. So now I'm going to say, obviously, with the cancellation of the 2020 World Cup here, this is actually the first time in history that the Memorial Cup is not going to be hoisted here, as it was actually established in 1919, and I'll just give little tidbits of the history of the championship here, but this will be the first time that we won't have a Memorial Cup champion here. So the Noranda Huskies, I guess, will have the title for another season here, but you can also say it's definitely, you gotta say that a lot of the young players are going to miss out on an experience here, especially if you had a great regular season and built up to get to the World Cup here. And some say it is the hardest championship to win here. I mean, you got 60 teams that are eligible to compete here over 3 leagues here, and then you got to win your league title. I mean, the case, since being a Calgary Hitmen fan and I follow the Western Hockey League, is the CHL Cup there, and the Calgary Hitmen actually have won the WHL Championship twice here in 1999 and most recently in 2010 there. But you win your league title, and then you got to compete in a round-robin tournament, which has the WHL champion, the OHL champion, and the Quebec Major Junior Hockey champion, and the host there, and they all compete in a round-robin tournament there, and then eventually, one team usually gets a bye into the final there if they dominated the round-robin tournament, and then the runner-ups play in the semifinal for a chance to get to the World Cup, and then it's a single-game elimination for the World Cup there. And I mean, the Calgary Hitmen definitely had some heartbreaking losses in the 2 times they were in the World Cup there. In 1999, we looked like we had a stacked team that was about to win the championship. We lost our heartbreaker to Ottawa 67s, who won the Memorial Cup that season in overtime there. And then in 2010, we lost in the semifinal to Brendan in overtime to get to the Memorial Cup here. And actually in 1926, there is a Calgary-based team. The Calgary Canadians won the Memorial Cup then. So there is a Calgary team that's on here. But, obviously the team that's going to be most affected right away is the Kelowna Rockets here, as they were hosts there. And you're going to probably say they're not going to have to wait probably another 3 years to host the Memorial Cup here, because it rotates by leagues here. Last year, it was the Quebec Major Junior League host. It was in Halifax. The Halifax Mooseheads hosted the Memorial Cup last season, and then next year it's going to be in an Ontario Hockey League site. I haven't found or if they haven't awarded the 2021 World Cup yet, but it will go to an Ontario Hockey League team, and then 2022 will be in the Quebec Major Junior League city there. So I'm going to assume that Kelowna will get it in 2023 because of the cancellation of it being this year with what's been going on here. But looking at the leagues here, you can't always assume that the top teams are going to play for the league championship and the Memorial Cup here. Remember the Stanley Cup playoffs last year, when the top two teams in each conference had a quick cameo in the playoffs, being the Calgary Flames and Tampa Lightning here. But last year, the top teams in the Western Hockey League ultimately competed for the WHL championship. I believe it was the Vancouver Giants and the Prince Albert Raiders. The Prince Albert Raiders did go to the Memorial Cup as the Western Hockey League champion there, but they actually were ousted in the Memorial Cup early. They didn't get to the semifinal here, but the Portland Winterhawks definitely led the way. They won the regular season title there, but you can also put in the Everett Silvertips. You have the Kamloops Blazers, who won the BC division, and out east here, you had the Edmonton Oil Kings. So definitely those teams you could probably say are affected the most, as they were the strongest teams in the Western Hockey League. And then the Kelowna Rockets were the hosts there. They probably would be a weaker team looking at the regular season, but you just never know. Upsets could still happen here. I would say those teams are definitely the most affected in the Western Hockey League. And then in the Ontario Hockey League here, the Ottawa 67s actually won the league title there. They had 101 points in the East Division there. And other teams here, you have the London Knights. They definitely have had always had a strong program there, as well as the Saginaw Spirit. I think the team is the Saginaw Spirits, because they won the West Division there. You got the Kitchener Rangers there. So I think those would be the strongest teams in the Ontario Hockey League that could have potentially competed for the Memorial Cup here. And then when it comes to the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, the Moncton Wildcats led the way the whole way with 101 points in the Eastern Conference here. Actually, not the Moncton Wildcats, the Sherbrooke Phoenix actually led the way. You could definitely say they probably were most effective, followed by the Moncton Wildcats. You can also say the other teams that would definitely be affected would be the Chicoutimi Saguenay. If I said it right here, I don't have my French accent here. And then also you have the Cape Breton Eagles there. And I know the Rimouski Oceanic, that's the team that Alexis Lafreniere is on. Who knows if he could have participated in the World Cup here, as he's slated to be favored to be drafted first overall in this upcoming NHL draft, which that's now been pushed back in recent events here. But I'm going to say those are the teams I would say to be the most affected, who had great regular seasons that have now been, they canceled the rest of the regular season here, as we were only down to the last handful of games and didn't really have much effect, especially when I looked at the Western Hockey League standings here. But they just couldn't decide to lead. The Canadian Hockey League decided to postpone, or not postpone, but cancel the regular season and the World Cup here. So those are the three leagues here. So yeah, like I say, the Memorial Cup here was first established in 1919 here, and it says it was established by Captain James T. Sutherland to honor the men who gave their lives in the First World War. He was the president of the Ontario Hockey Association at the time, who was serving overseas in the First World War there at the time. And then it was rededicated during the 2010 tournament, which happened to be when the Calgary Hitmen were a part of it, to honor all soldiers who died for Canada in conflicts there. So it ties in with the First World War and honoring the best junior hockey players. So that's what the quick gist of the World Cup here, and there has been a champion every year except for this season here. So it's definitely had the same fate that the Stanley Cup had, 101 years ago, as the Stanley Cup Finals was being played, but it wasn't completed because of what was going on then with the Spanish flu there. So when I said the Stanley Cup wasn't awarded twice there, once was because of the Spanish flu then, and then in 2004-05 it was not awarded because of suits in the boardroom between the NHL and the NHL Players Association. And I still say, looking back, that lockout was necessary here. But the last order of business here in this video here is that there's 3 Calgary Hitmen that are going to be graduating. As keep in mind, in junior hockey here, you have players that are from 16 to 20-year-olds. So that's the other reason why it's harder to win the World Cup there, because you have 60 teams that compete, and you have to win your league title first, and then you got to play in a round robin with other league champions. And the fact you only have a small window to have like a great core of players there, and I mean the Calgary Hitmen definitely had a core of players that contributed with the 2 teams that won the WHL championship, and then all pretty much leave at the same time. And it was also even incredible when the Canada's Blazers won it back-to-back there as well, which I almost think in some way that's even tougher to do than winning back-to-back championships in professional sports, even if you had the same team. So that just puts things in perspective there. But 3 Calgary Hitmen are graduating because they're now ineligible to play the Canadian Hockey League. 2 of them have been drafted in the NHL here, and the other one is still undrafted here, which, there's still a dream that they could still get on with an NHL team. As many great players were undrafted. I mean, Wayne Gretzky wasn't drafted in the NHL, or Mark Giordano of the Calgary Flames wasn't. There was a couple examples there. So Mark Kaslick actually is in the top 5 of Calgary Hitmen scoring of all time here. He's going to graduate, and he was drafted by the Ottawa Senators in the 5th round in 2019 there. The second player is Kyle Olsen, who we did acquire from the Tri-City Americans there. He is actually a property of the Anaheim Ducks there. He was drafted in the 4th round in 2017 there. And then Dakota Krebs, the defenseman, actually he is not drafted here. So, I mean, let's wish those 3 the best luck to the graduating Calgary Hitmen here. And, I mean, definitely Mark Kaslick definitely has climbed his way up in the record books there. As definitely, fortunately, they didn't get their final recognition, because usually what they do in junior hockey at the last home game or the last game, they the 3 stars are usually the 3 players, because each team can carry 3 mature 20-year-olds on the roster there, and usually they get the 3 stars regardless what happened in that game there. So definitely they don't get that, and I haven't seen any team awards awarded by the Calgary Hitmen. I know they had their recent draft there, but if I do decide to come back for season 3 of recapping Calgary Hitmen games, I think I'll do that then, and say who knows when that season is going to be done, because everything's kind of uncertain and on hold right now. But so yeah, that's definitely another sports update. And as I say, there's going to be no more season 2 of my Calgary Hitmen game recaps. Unfortunately, there won't be any episodes of my Calgary Hitmen in the WHL Playoffs, because it's not going to happen, and ultimately the World Cup is not going to be happening in Kelowna this year. I mean, I think you obviously know why if you're watching this, but I'm not going to trigger the algorithm and say the exact words and what the event is. But I'm going to say it's definitely, hopefully things will eventually get back to normal and we can get back to our lives here and start recovering. So as I say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, home to Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, and Stampeders, just make sure you hit like, subscribe to follow along when I post any new content. I mostly do sports content and Calgary sports in particular here, but I also do personal blogs, attempt to comedy, and I also share my experiences. Say I'm on the road or at a sporting event there. Whenever it would be safe to do that, I'll plan to do that again. And that's all the stuff I post on my channel. So if that sounds like it'd be interesting to watch, do follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey. Just make sure you hit like, subscribe. I also have my other social media links down in the description below there. So as I'll say here, let's go Hitmen, and hopefully we'll have some better news in the future here and get back to playing games eventually here. So as I say, I'll see you in the next video.